Well, this is Caleb May at the reunion for the Dover Grade School and Junior High alumni, and pleased to have with me here Alan Zordel, Mr. Z. Uh, and thank you so much for coming, Mr. Z.
Happy to be here. Proud to be here.
Appreciate that. So, just to ask you a couple questions here.
Sure, I'll do my best to answer them.
Well, tell us a little bit about, kind of where you're from and how you ended up at Dover.
I'm from a little town out in western Kansas called Ransom, about 250 people. And after I graduated from college, I worked for a couple years and then started looking for a couple jobs and interviewed here and gave me the job. And I was here for, I think, 17 years.
Wow. So was that Mr. Lang that interviewed you? Or?
Yep. Yeah, and after I signed my contract, I went around and looked for a place to live and ended up living at Lake Wabaunsee for a couple of years.
Mm.
So,
that's kind of, I guess it was probably a neat community back then too, but kind of a neat little community.
yeah, I lived right across the point from Mr. Anschu's.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you recall when he stopped being the superintendent? I know he was when I was young.
Yeah, it would have been about 98 or 99, something like that. A little bit. Maybe a little earlier, I'm not quite sure.
Alrighty. Now, so you came in what year?
My first year was 83, 84.
Okay. And do you recall any of the students you had that first year?
Yeah, I think the 8th grade that year was Rod Springer and Brad Bassett and some of those guys. My memory's not what it used to be, but I think that's what it was. And I think the 7th grade was Debbie Bassett and Carrie Crow and that whole bunch. But it's been a while. It's a struggle. I recognize his faces. Sometimes I have a hard time with names. So
I've always had trouble with names. I don't know what it is. So who were the other teachers in the junior high when you first started there?
Let's see. Mr. Lawson was music. Mrs. Lee was the math teacher.
And she was Miss Allen back then, right?
Yeah. In fact, when I first moved up here and took my job and lived out at Lake Wabaunsee, Mrs. Lee lived right in the house next right door to me.
Oh, wow.
And let's see, Mrs. Hiniaki and then Mr. Lawson.
Okay. And so while you were here, you coached all the time?
Yeah. First year, I coached Mr. Lang, had me do the girls' volleyball and the girls' basketball, and then did track. And then at Mission Valley, I coached football and basketball, and then I was head girls' basketball coach for 9 years. And then I coached track out here. So put a lot of time in, but it was worth it.
Very good. Now I know in the summers we would encounter you occasionally at the what was that place called with the putt golf and everything?
Sports Center.
Yeah.
This will be my 31st year working out there this summer.
Wow.
So the last few years I've just done grounds. Before that I did a little bit of everything. When we had the Christmas tree farm, I worked on that and then ran the go-karts. And I got too old and grumpy for that. So I do a lot of mowing and painting and stuff like that. It keeps me outside and I don't have to deal with customers.
So you have earned that get off my lawn
yeah
situations.
I've never thought of it like that, but yeah, that's pretty good.
Alrighty, so let me see here. Any just really wild and crazy memory that you might have anywhere across the gambit of your time here, or some particular student or any scenario that you'd like to share?
Well, it wouldn't be fair if I picked out one student, but I can remember one thing that happened. I had tore my shoulder up and had surgery on it, and it was about my first or second day back to school. And I was walking upstairs from the bottom floor to the copy room upstairs. I had my arm in a sling, and I got my foot caught on the carpet, and I fell, and my arm went up like that. And I think that's I can say the only time I've ever cussed in front of the students in school. So I was embarrassed as all get out, but everybody came running out. They must have thought I'd fallen down the stairs or something. But had wonderful students and wonderful coworkers. And I'll be sitting at school now, and I'll see something or hear something and remember, hey, I remember something like that happening in Dover.
Yeah, I think probably the most memorable thing, and of course, I was the weird kid that swallowed the earthworm. We did have live earthworms. I know there were some that were in formaldehyde and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't have done anything like that, but I think some of the first biology and anatomy things that I recall were from your class of dissecting little things. I think it might even have been a fetal pig, perhaps.
There was one year we did do fetal pigs and fish, starfish, crawdad, and there was something else I can't remember. But we ran the whole gamut of it, and it was fun because the kids loved it, and it was some of the kids, some of the typical girls didn't want to touch it, yeah, but once they got the hang of it, it was great. I should have videotaped it. I never dawned on me until later. I should have videotaped it.
Yeah, of course, all the living things out there. I remember the little ringneck snakes that were in the stone building area, and we were constantly catching those when they were around and putting them in girls' hair and stuff. And they go obviously wild about that. But yeah, a lot of good memories there. Again, thank you for coming
You
today,
bet.
and really appreciate seeing you. And we'll have to do this again sometime.
I'm ready. I'm ready to retire, and now I got to look forward to his reunion. So I've got my 50-year reunion from high school coming up here in 3 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's 22 years since I graduated high school.
It
So
goes fast,
it
and every
goes
year goes
faster and
faster and
faster.
faster.
Yeah, I've got 6 kids now, and Hannah's going to be 15, my oldest. And it's like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mine's going to be 29 in July. So
That's wild. Well, thanks so much.
you
And
bet.
some of these folks couldn't make it, some in Texas and all over the country. And so we miss you guys. And hopefully, we get a really good contact list and we can reach people better the next time. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.